The Bible, which I have always maintained, is not a historical document, but a psychological drama, tells us in Proverbs, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. What is this heart that we must guard so carefully? It is not the physical organ pumping blood through your veins, but the center of your being, your consciousness, your awareness, your I am. When you focus on yourself, you are turning to the only creative power in your world. You are acknowledging that what you are conscious of being, you will express in your outer world. This is the fundamental law of manifestation that has been taught in veiled language throughout all sacred texts. Do you not know that the kingdom of heaven is within you? That you need not look to external circumstances, to other people, or to future events for your good. All that you seek is already present within your consciousness, awaiting your recognition and acceptance. The world may tell you to focus outwardly, to study the actions of others, to compete, to strive, to force changes in your environment. But I tell you that such effort is unnecessary when you understand the law of consciousness. For when you change your inner state, your outer world must conform to that change. It has no choice, for it is only the shadow of your inner reality. And what of this silence that I urge you to maintain? It is not merely the absence of speech, though that is indeed part of it. The silence I speak of is a profound inner quietude, a refusal to contradict in thought, word, or deed the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. In the book of Exodus, we find these words, the Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. This is the true meaning of staying silent. It is allowing the law, your own wonderful human imagination, to do its perfect work without interference from your doubting, reasoning mind. How many times have you planted a seed of desire in your consciousness only to dig it up repeatedly with your doubts and fears? How often have you declared that a thing is so, only to contradict it moments later with anxious thoughts? This is the very opposite of maintaining silence. The silence I advocate is a complete mental acceptance that what you have imagined is now reality in the spiritual realm, and therefore must inevitably materialize in your experience. It is a calm knowing, a peaceful certainty that needs no outer confirmation. Let me share with you a simple technique that has helped countless individuals to focus on themselves and maintain this creative silence. When you retire at night, lie flat on your back with your head upon a pillow. Close your eyes and completely relax your body. Now bring your attention to your breathing, not to control it, but simply to observe its natural rhythm. As your body relaxes and your mind begins to quiet, turn your attention inward. Become aware of yourself as pure consciousness, as the observer, not the things observed. Feel the reality of your own existence apart from all conditions and circumstances. Now, from this state of self-awareness, begin to imagine a scene that would imply the fulfillment of your desire. See it clearly, feel it to be real, and allow yourself to become emotionally involved in this imaginal act. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction of having already attained what you seek. This is focusing on yourself, on your own creative consciousness. And as you fall asleep in this state, you are maintaining the silence that allows the seed to take root in the soil of your subconscious mind. Do not wake in the morning and immediately begin to question whether your imaginal act was effective. Do not look to your external world for immediate signs of change. Instead, maintain your silence. Go about your day from the calm center of knowing that what you have imagined must come to pass, for that is the law. The Bible tells us, be still and know that I am God. This stillness, this silence is not inactivity. It is the most powerful form of action possible, for it aligns you with the creative forces of the universe itself. Consider the words of the psalmist, I said, I will take heed to my ways, that I sin not with my tongue. I will keep my mouth with a bridle, while the wicked is before me. I was dumb with silence, I held my peace even from good, and my sorrow was stirred. This passage beautifully illustrates the challenge and the power of maintaining silence. Even when confronted with conditions that seem to deny our desires while the wicked is before me, we must hold our peace. We must refuse to give voice to doubt, fear, or contradiction. Let me tell you of a lady who came to me in distress. Her husband had left her for another woman, and she was consumed with jealousy, anger, and a desperate need to take action to reclaim him. She asked what she should do. Should she confront the other woman? Should she beg her husband to return? Should she seek legal counsel? I told her to do nothing outwardly. Instead, I instructed her to focus on herself, on her own consciousness, and to create there the state of being happily married. Each night she was to fall asleep feeling the presence of her husband beside her, hearing his voice experiencing the comfort and security of their restored relationship. And above all, I urged her to maintain silence, not to speak to others of her problems, not to confront her husband or her mistress, not even to affirm verbally what she was creating in imagination, simply to know within herself that the marriage was restored in her consciousness and therefore must manifest in her experience. Within 1 month, her husband returned, the relationship with the other woman having dissolved of its own accord. No outer action was necessary. By focusing on herself, on her own creative consciousness, and by maintaining silence, she had allowed the law to operate without interference. This principle applies to every area of life. Are you seeking financial abundance? Do not focus on the outer conditions that seem to limit you. Do not speak constantly of lack or engage in anxious discussions about the economy. Instead, focus on yourself, on your consciousness, and establish there the feeling of wealth and security. Live from that state in your imagination and maintain silence as the outer world rearranges itself to match your inner assumption. Do you desire health? Then do not dwell upon the condition of your body or engage in endless conversations about symptoms and treatments. Focus instead on the feeling of being perfectly well. Establish that state within your consciousness and maintain silence as the creative law works through you to manifest physical harmony. I tell you that all things are possible to him who believes. And true belief is not merely an intellectual acceptance, but a state of consciousness, a feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you focus on yourself, on your I, and identify it with your desire, you have set in motion the law that must bring your desire to fruition. Some may misunderstand this teaching and consider it selfish or impractical. They may say, but Neville, we must take action in the world. We cannot simply sit and imagine. To them I would reply that I am not advocating inaction, but rather the most appropriate and effective action of consciousness. All outer actions, when they are not inspired by a changed consciousness, are merely futile attempts to bring about change through effort and will. But when action flows naturally from a transformed inner state, it is effortless and perfectly suited to the manifestation of your desire. I recall a gentleman who attended one of my lectures in New York. He approached me afterward and said, I understand what you're teaching, but I've been imagining financial success for months with no results. What am I doing wrong? Upon questioning him, I discovered that while he was indeed in imaginative scenes of wealth each night, during his days he was constantly speaking of his financial problems, checking his bank balance anxiously, and focusing on the gap between his desire and his current reality. I said to him, you are planting a seed with your imaginal act, but then you are daily digging it up to see if it has grown. You must maintain silence. You must stop contradicting your assumption of wealth with your words and actions. He took this advice to heart. He continued his nightly practice of imagining wealth, but he also began to focus on himself, on controlling his inner conversations and maintaining an attitude consistent with his desire. He ceased speaking of financial problems and even stopped checking his bank balance compulsively. Within 6 weeks, he received an unexpected business opportunity that eventually led to the financial abundance he had been seeking. The outer action accepting and developing the opportunity came naturally and effortlessly because it was inspired by his changed consciousness. The Bible states, in returning and rest shall ye be saved, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. This is the true meaning of focusing on yourself and staying silent. It is returning to the center of your being, resting in the assumption that your desire is fulfilled, maintaining the quietness that allows the seed to grow undisturbed, and having complete confidence in the law of your own consciousness. Let us now explore another dimension of this practice. When you focus on yourself, you withdraw attention from the limitations of the outer world. You cease to be mesmerized by appearances, which are only shadows of past thoughts and beliefs. This withdrawal of attention is essential for the transformation of consciousness. As long as you are fixated on external conditions, accepting them as the ultimate reality, you cannot truly change those conditions. For what you focus on persists in your experience. By focusing instead on yourself, on the reality of your consciousness, you reclaim your creative power. The great spiritual directive, go within, is not merely a suggestion. It is the only way to fundamentally change your life. For all external circumstances are but reflections of internal states. Change the internal, and the external must change accordingly. This is why Jesus taught, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment is to see not with the outer eye of the senses, which reports only the effects of past causes, but with the inner eye of imagination, which sees what is desired as already accomplished. When you focus on yourself, you are focusing on the cause rather than the effect, on the source rather than the shadow. This is the essence of true spiritual practice. And what of the silence that must accompany this focus? It serves multiple purposes in the manifestation of your desires. First, silence prevents the dissipation of creative energy. When you speak prematurely of your desires or your imaginal acts, you often release the tension necessary for manifestation. It is like deflating a balloon before it has lifted you to your destination. I have observed that those who speak least of their ambitions are often those who accomplish them most impressively. They have intuitively grasped the power of silence, of holding their visions sacred and protected from the doubts and criticisms of others. Second, silence allows the subconscious mind to work unhindered. When you maintain outer silence about your desires and inner silence through the quieting of contrary thoughts, you create the ideal conditions for the manifestation of your imaginal acts. The subconscious accepts what the conscious mind impresses upon it, but this impression must be clear and consistent. By maintaining silence, refusing to contradict your assumption with either words or thoughts, you ensure that the impression remains undisturbed until it manifests in your outer world. Third, silence is an expression of absolute faith in the law. When you know that a thing is done in consciousness, you feel no need to speak of it anxiously or to seek constant reassurance. Your silence is a testament to your confidence that what you have assumed in imagination must objectify itself in your experience. This is the meaning of the biblical instruction, but thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. The closet is your consciousness. The door that must be shut is the silence you maintain against all contradictory thoughts and words. And the Father who sees in secret is the law of your own being, which unfailingly brings forth the harvest of your mental sowing. Let me share with you another example from my own experience. Many years ago, I desired to travel to Barbados to visit my family, but I had no apparent means to make the journey. Rather than focusing on this limitation, I turned within, I focused on myself, on my consciousness, and I imagined stepping off the ship onto the soil of Barbados, being greeted by my family, feeling the warm tropical air on my skin. I performed this imaginal act night after night, and I maintained silence about it. I did not speak to others of my desire to travel when I had no visible means to do so. I did not allow myself to engage in anxious thoughts about how this journey would be accomplished. Within a matter of weeks, a series of seemingly unrelated events culminated in my receiving both the funds and the opportunity to make the journey exactly as I had imagined it. The outer action, booking the passage, boarding the ship, came naturally and effortlessly as a result of my inner action of consciousness. This is the pattern of manifestation that I have observed countless times, both in my own life and in the lives of those who have applied this teaching faithfully. The inner creates the outer. The focus on self, on consciousness, precedes and determines the conditions of objective experience. Now let us consider what typically prevents people from successfully focusing on themselves and maintaining silence. The primary obstacle is the tendency to be constantly drawn outward by the evidence of the senses. From childhood, we are taught to believe that what we can see, hear, and touch is more real than what we imagine. We are conditioned to accept the testimony of the outer world as the ultimate truth. And so when we attempt to focus on ourselves, on our consciousness, we are repeatedly pulled back to external reality by the sheer force of habit. This habit can be broken, but it requires determination and practice. It requires a willingness to question the evidence of the senses and to affirm the primacy of consciousness. It requires faith in the unseen reality of your own wonderful human imagination. The silence that I advocate is equally challenging for most people. In a world that values expression, communication, and constant sharing of thoughts and feelings, the discipline of silence can seem strange or even threatening. Many feel that by not speaking of their problems, they are somehow denying them or refusing to deal with them responsibly. Others fear that by not continually affirming their desires verbally, they might forget them or lose momentum toward their fulfillment. But I tell you that true silence, the silence that follows complete inner acceptance of your desire as fulfilled, is not denial or forgetfulness. It is the most powerful affirmation possible, for it stems from the confidence that what is done in consciousness is done indeed, and needs no further effort or assertion. This silence is not the gritting of teeth against adversity or the repression of genuine feelings. It is the natural quiet that descends when you know that your desire is already yours and the only reality that ultimately matters, the reality of consciousness. Consider the words attributed to Jesus. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. This is a perfect expression of the principle I am teaching you tonight. To focus on yourself is to enter the state of prayer, not as supplication, but as assumption. And to stay silent is to maintain the belief that you have already received, regardless of appearances to the contrary. Now let me address a common misconception. Some may think that by focusing on yourself and staying silent, you are somehow withdrawing from life or avoiding responsibility. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you focus on yourself in the way I am describing, you are engaging with life at its causal level. You are taking full responsibility for your experience by acknowledging and exercising your role as the creator of your reality. And the silence I advocate is not an aloof detachment from the world, but rather a reverent recognition that the world is responding to your consciousness, not the other way around. It is the silence of mastery, not the silence of defeat or resignation. Let me offer you a practical discipline to develop your ability to focus on yourself and maintain silence. Each day, set aside a period of time. It need not be long. Even 15 minutes will suffice, during which you deliberately withdraw attention from the outer world and focus entirely on your consciousness. During this time, ignore the evidence of the senses. Release all concern with problems, conditions, or circumstances. Be fully present with your I am, your awareness of being. Feel the reality of your existence independent of all external factors. From this state of self-awareness, select a desire, something you wish to be, to do, or to have. Now, with the full focus of your attention, imagine this desire is already fulfilled. See it, feel it, accept it as done. As you emerge from this period of focused imagination, maintain silence about your practice. Do not speak of it to others. And do not allow your inner conversation to contradict what you have established in consciousness. If doubts arise, and they will, for all habits of thought are persistent, do not fight them directly. Instead, gently return your focus to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Remember that what you focus on expands. So by focusing on the doubt, you only strengthen it. Focus instead on the assumed reality of your wish fulfilled. Practice this discipline daily, and you will gradually develop the capacity to focus on yourself, on your consciousness, rather than on external conditions. You will also strengthen your ability to maintain silence, to hold your vision sacred and protected until it manifests in your experience. This practice is the essence of what I have been teaching for many years, though I have expressed it in various ways and through different metaphors and examples. It is the art of changing your life by changing your consciousness. And it is based on the absolute law that consciousness is the only reality. The Bible, which I have always interpreted as a psychological rather than historical document, is filled with references to this practice. When properly understood, It is a manual for the mastery of consciousness and the manifestation of desire. For instance, consider the story of the Exodus. Egypt represents the bondage of belief in external conditions, while the Promised Land represents the freedom of knowing that consciousness is the only reality. The journey from one to the other is the process of shifting focus from the outer to the inner, from the effect to the cause. The 40 years in the wilderness represents the period of transition during which old beliefs die and new awareness is established. The various trials and tests along the way represent the challenges of maintaining focus on the inner reality when outer appearance is contradicted. And the command to be silent in various situations throughout the journey represents the necessity of not contradicting with our words or thoughts the assumption of already being in the Promised Land. This is your journey as well. You may currently be in Egypt bound by belief in the limitations of external reality. Through the practice of focusing on yourself and staying silent, you will journey to your own Promised Land, the fulfillment of your desires through the conscious exercise of your creative imagination. Let me share with you one more example that may clarify this principle further. A young man once came to me deeply concerned about his professional future. He had applied for a position that represented his dream job, but he had been told that there were hundreds of applicants, many far more qualified than he. Rather than focusing on these external circumstances, I advised him to focus on himself, on his consciousness. I suggested that he imagine being congratulated on securing the position, feeling the handshake of his new employer, hearing the words of welcome, experiencing the satisfaction and joy of having attained his desire. And I emphasized the importance of silence. He was not to speak to anyone about having used his imagination in this way. He was not to anxiously discuss his chances with friends or family. He was not even to allow his inner conversation to question the reality of what he had imagined. He followed this guidance faithfully, and within 2 weeks he received a call from the company. Despite the supposedly overwhelming competition, he was offered the position. The external action, the interview, the acceptance flowed naturally from his changed state of consciousness. This is the pattern you will observe in your own life as you practice focusing on yourself and staying silent. The outer circumstances, no matter how fixed they may appear, must yield to the power of your consciousness when you know the law and apply it faithfully. Now, as we approach the conclusion of our discussion, let me leave you with this thought. The practice I have described to you is not merely a technique for getting what you want, though it certainly is that. It is a way of aligning yourself with the fundamental reality of the universe, the reality that consciousness is primary, and that the world of the senses is its projection. When you focus on yourself, on your consciousness, and maintain silence until your assumption manifests, you are not only fulfilling your desires, you are fulfilling the very purpose of your existence, which is to experience and express the infinite creative power that is your true nature. You are here to create, to imagine, to assume, to transform not through struggle and effort, but through the wonderful human capacity to conceive and believe. And as you discover and exercise this power, you will find that life becomes not a series of problems to be solved, but a joyous journey of ever-expanding awareness and expression. The world is your consciousness objectified. Change your consciousness, and you change your world. This is the simple yet profound truth that has the power to transform every aspect of your experience. Remember the words of the prophet, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still, maintain silence. No focus on the reality of your consciousness, that I am God. Acknowledge the divine creative power that is your true identity. This is the practice that will lead you from bondage to freedom, from limitation to fulfillment, from frustration to satisfaction. This is the art of focusing on yourself and staying silent. Tonight, as you retire to sleep, I urge you to put this teaching to the test. Select a desire, something that you genuinely wish to experience. As you lie in bed, relaxed and receptive, focus on yourself, on your I am, your awareness of being. Then, from this center of your being, imagine your desire is already fulfilled. Feel the reality of it. Accept it completely. Fall asleep in this state of conscious assumption and maintain silence about it. Do not speak of it prematurely. and do not allow your inner conversation to contradict it. Do this faithfully, persistently, and with full attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Then observe as the outer circumstances of your life begin to rearrange themselves to match your inner conviction. For this is the law. What you focus on in consciousness, with feeling and conviction, must objectify itself in your experience. It cannot fail, for consciousness is the only reality, and all things are possible to him who believes. Focus on yourself, on your consciousness. Stay silent until your assumption has become your experience. This is the way to the fulfillment of all your desires, the way to the life you truly wish to live. For when you know yourself as the creator of your reality, you have discovered the greatest secret of existence, and nothing can ever limit you again. In my Father's house are many mansions, many states of consciousness. By focusing on yourself, you choose the mansion, the state that you will occupy. And by maintaining silence, you allow that choice to become your dwelling place. The choice is yours now and always. Choose wisely and live in the joyous awareness of your creative power. The end of all seeking is to know yourself as the creator of your experience. The purpose of all teaching is to return you to the center of your being, where true power resides. And the reward of all practice is the freedom to be, to do, and to have whatever you can conceive and believe. Focus on yourself and stay silent. This is the key I offer you tonight, the key to the kingdom of your own unlimited potential. Use it faithfully and watch as the world transforms before your eyes. For in truth, there is no power outside of you. There is nothing to overcome, nothing to fight against, nothing to fear. There is only your consciousness, your awareness, your I am, and its infinite capacity to conceive, to believe, and to experience. Know this truth, and it will set you free. Practice this principle, and it will transform your life. Share this understanding through your example, and you will help to awaken others to their own divine creative power. This is my message to you tonight. Focus on yourself and stay silent. In these simple words lies the secret of fulfilled desire, the path to your highest good, and the realization of your true nature as the operant power in your world. Thank you for your attention, and may you go forward from this hour with the confident knowledge that all you desire is already yours in consciousness, awaiting only your recognition and acceptance to become your living experience. Consider for a moment the power of your imagination. It is not merely a faculty for idle daydreams, but the very foundation of your reality. When you imagine hearing back from someone, you are not engaging in wishful thinking, but in the act of creation itself. For your imagination is God in action, and what you conceive in your mind's eye is destined to manifest in your physical world. The message you await is not bound by the limitations of time and space. It exists now in this very moment in the realm of infinite possibility. Your task is to enter into the feeling of having already received it. Feel the joy, the excitement, the satisfaction of hearing those words you long to hear. Make it real in your consciousness, and watch as the world reshapes itself to match your inner vision. Many of you may doubt the power of this practice. You may think, how can my imagination influence reality? But I say to you, your imagination is reality. It is the God-given power within you to shape your world. When you truly grasp this truth, you will understand that the message you await is not coming from some external source, but from the depths of your own being. The sign you are about to receive is not a coincidence or a stroke of luck. It is the natural consequence of your own mental activity. You have planted the seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind, and now it must grow and bear fruit. This is the law of your being, as immutable as the law of gravity. What you assume, you become. What you imagine, you create. Do not make the mistake of ignoring this sign when it appears, for in doing so you are ignoring the very power that created it. Embrace it fully, knowing that it is the materialization of your own divine imagination. Let it serve as proof of the creative power that resides within you, waiting to be harnessed and directed towards your heart's desires. Remember, the world is yourself pushed out. Every person, every circumstance, every event in your life is a reflection of your own consciousness. When you hear back from someone, know that it is your own self answering your call. You are the author of your life story. And this message is but one line in the grand narrative you are writing with every thought and feeling. Many of you may be wondering, but what if the message doesn't come? What if I imagine and nothing happens? To this I say, revise. If the day ends and you have not received the sign you anticipated, do not accept defeat. Instead, in your imagination, rewrite the day. See yourself receiving the message, feel the emotions associated with it. Make it so vivid and real that you cannot distinguish it from physical reality. For in truth, there is no distinction. Your imaginal act is the reality from which the physical springs forth. As you embark on this practice, you may find that your outer world begins to shift and change. People may react to you differently. Circumstances may align in unexpected ways. Do not be alarmed by these changes, for they are the natural result of your shifted consciousness. You are seeing the first fruits of your imaginal labor, the early signs that your inner vision is taking root in the fertile soil of the physical world. It is crucial that you persist in your assumption. Do not waver in your conviction that you will hear back from someone. Hold fast to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when your senses may deny it. For your senses only show you the world that was, not the world that is becoming. Your imagination shows you the world that can be. That must be, if you but hold true to your vision. Consider the biblical story of Abraham, who was promised descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, even in his old age. Against all physical evidence, against the testimony of his senses, he held fast to the promise. He lived in the end, feeling the joy and satisfaction of being a father to multitudes. And in time, the physical world reshaped itself to match his inner conviction. You, too, are called to this level of faith. Not a blind faith in some power, but a knowing faith in the creative power of your own imagination. When you hear back from someone, it will not be because of some cosmic coincidence, but because you have decreed it to be so in the theater of your mind. As you go about your day, carry with you the feeling of having already received the message you await. Let it color your interactions, influence your decisions, shape your mood. For in doing so, you are living from the end. And this is the secret of all successful manifestation. The feeling is the secret, the key that unlocks the door to your desired reality. Do not concern yourself with the how or the when. These belong to the realm of Caesar, the world of effects. You are operating in the realm of cause, the kingdom within. Your task is not to manipulate the external world, but to impress upon your subconscious mind the reality of your desire fulfilled. The bridge of incidents, the means by which your desire will be realized, will form itself without your conscious interference. As you cultivate this practice, you may find that not only do you hear back from someone, but that your entire life begins to transform. For you are not merely changing a single event, but your entire concept of self. You are stepping into the role of conscious creator, aligning yourself with the divine power that shapes worlds. Remember, the message you await is but a symbol of a greater truth, that you are the operant power in your life. You are not a helpless victim of circumstance, but the very source from which all circumstances spring. When you truly internalize this truth, you will no longer anxiously await messages or signs from others. You will know that all power resides within you, and that the entire universe moves to fulfill your assumptions. Do not make the mistake of putting your faith in external forces. The power you seek does not reside in other people, in lucky charms, or in the alignment of the stars. It resides in you, in the infinite creative potential of your imagination. When you hear back from someone, know that it is your own voice echoing back to you from the depths of eternity. As you go forth from this place, carry with you the conviction that your imagination is creating reality moment by moment. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Paint boldly with vibrant colors and sweeping strokes. Create a masterpiece worthy of the divine artist that you are. The sign you await, the message you long to hear, is already yours in the realm of imagination. And what is imagined must be made manifest. For this is the law of your being. Do not question it. Do not doubt it. Simply live in the absolute assurance that it is done. Many of you may be tempted to share your vision with others, to seek validation or support. But I caution you against this. Your imaginal act is a sacred thing, a seed planted in the secret place of the Most High. Nurture it in silence, water it with your faith, and let it grow in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. The world will see the fruits of your labor soon enough. As you await the physical manifestation of your desire, do not become anxious or impatient. These states of mind imply that you do not yet have what you seek, and thus delay its appearance in your world. Instead, cultivate a sense of calm expectancy, the quiet assurance of a thing already possessed. Remember, time is a construct of human mind, a way of organizing experiences in a linear fashion. In the realm of imagination, all things exist now. The message you await is not coming from the future. It exists in this very moment, in the eternal now of your consciousness. Live from this timeless state and watch as the illusion of time bends to accommodate your assumption. You may find as you practice this principle that the specific person from whom you expect to hear becomes less important. For you will realize that they are but a channel through which your own assumption flows. The power does not reside in them, but in you. They are moved by your consciousness, playing the role you have assigned them in the drama of your life. Do not limit yourself by thinking that only one specific person can bring you the message you seek. The entire universe is at your command, ready to rearrange itself to match your inner vision. The message may come from an unexpected source, in an unexpected way. Be open to infinite possibilities, knowing that the how is not your concern. Your only task is to live in the end, to feel the reality of your desire fulfilled. As you go about your daily life, make it a practice to revise any events that seem to contradict your assumption. If a day passes without the expected message, do not accept this as final. In your imagination, rewrite the day. See yourself receiving the message, feel the joy and satisfaction it brings. Make this imaginal act so vivid, so real, that it supersedes the memory of the physical day. This practice of revision is not mere wishful thinking or self-delusion. It is a powerful tool for reshaping your world, for your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. By revising events in your imagination, you are literally rewriting your past and consequently altering your future. Many of you may wonder about the morality of using your imagination in this way. Is it right, you may ask, to manipulate reality for my own ends? But I say to you, there is no reality to manipulate outside of your own consciousness. You are not imposing your will on others, but rather awakening to the truth of your own divine nature. In doing so, you liberate not only yourself, but all those around you. As you become more adept at living from the state of the wish fulfilled, you may find that your desires begin to change. What once seemed vitally important may lose its urgency. This is a natural consequence of aligning yourself with your true nature. You are no longer driven by lack or fear, but move from a place of abundance and love. The message you await is but a stepping stone on your journey of awakening. It is a symbol of your growing awareness of the power within you. As you master this principle, you will find that you no longer need external confirmation of your assumptions. You will know with unshakable certainty that what you imagine must come to pass. Do not be discouraged if, at first, you do not see immediate results. The seed you have planted in the garden of your mind needs time to germinate and grow. Water it daily with your faith. Nurture it with your unwavering assumption. and in due time it will bear fruit. The law is infallible. What you sow, you must reap. Remember, the world is yourself pushed out. Every person you encounter, every circumstance you face is a reflection of your own consciousness. When you hear back from someone, know that it is your own self answering your call. You are the author of your life story. And this message is but one line in the grand narrative you are writing with every thought and feeling. As you go forth from this place, carry with you the absolute conviction that your imagination is creating reality moment by moment. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Paint boldly with vibrant colors and sweeping strokes. Create a masterpiece worthy of the divine artist that you are. The sign you await, the message you long to hear, is already yours in the realm of imagination. And what is imagined must be made manifest. For this is the law of your being. Do not question it, do not doubt it. Simply live in the absolute assurance that it is done. Many of you may be wondering about the timing of this manifestation. When you ask, will I receive this message? But I say to you, time is a construct of the human mind, an illusion born of our limited perspective. In the realm of imagination, all things exist now. Your task is not to wait for some future moment, but to enter fully into the reality of your desire fulfilled in this very instant. Imagine, if you will, that you are standing before a great mirror. This mirror reflects not your physical appearance, but the contents of your consciousness. What do you see reflected there? Do you see anxiety, doubt, fear of rejection? Or do you see the calm assurance of one who knows their desire is already fulfilled? The choice is yours. And it is a choice you make moment by moment with every thought and feeling. As you cultivate the feeling of having already received the message you await, you may find that your entire being begins to shift. You may walk differently, speak differently, interact with others in a new way. This is natural and to be expected. For you are no longer the person who is waiting to hear back from someone. You are now the person who has heard, who has received, who is living in the joyous reality of their desire fulfilled. Do not be surprised if, as you practice this principle, you begin to attract new and unexpected experiences. The message you await may come in a form you had not anticipated. It may come from a person you had not considered. This is the bridge of incidents forming itself, the means by which your assumption is made manifest in the physical world. Trust in this process, knowing that the infinite intelligence of your subconscious mind far exceeds your conscious planning. Remember, the power to create your reality does not reside in some external force, but in the very depths of your own being. You are not a powerless supplicant begging the universe for favors. You are the universe itself, molding reality with the infinite power of your imagination. When you truly grasp this truth, you will understand that the message you await is not coming to you, but from you. As you go about your day, make it a practice to catch yourself in moments of doubt or anxiety. When you find your mind wandering to thoughts of what if, or when will it happen, gently but firmly bring yourself back to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction of having already received the message. Make this feeling more real to you than the evidence of your physical senses. Many of you may find this practice challenging at first. You may struggle to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled in the face of seeming contradictions in your physical reality. But I say to you, persist, for it is in these moments of challenge that your faith is strengthened, your imagination honed, and your creative power realized. Consider for a moment the story of the prophet Elijah, who commanded the rain to fall after years of drought. He did not stand beneath clear skies and doubt. He did not question the timing or the means. He lived in the absolute assurance that the rain was coming, so much so that he sent his servant 7 times to look for a cloud. And on the 7th time, a small cloud appeared, no bigger than a man's hand. From this tiny manifestation, a great rain was born. You too are called to this level of faith. The message you await may at first appear as a small sign, a tiny cloud on the horizon of your consciousness. Do not despise these small beginnings, for from them great manifestations are born. Nurture them with your faith, water them with your unwavering assumption, and watch as they grow into the full realization of your desire. As you become more adept at living from the state of the wish fulfilled, you may find that your entire perception of reality begins to shift. What once seemed solid and immutable may reveal itself as fluid and responsive to your consciousness. This is not cause for alarm, but for celebration. For you are awakening to the true nature of reality, to the limitless creative power that resides within you. Do not make the mistake of sharing your vision with those who may doubt or discourage you. Your imaginal act is a sacred thing, a seed planted in the secret place of the Most High. Nurture it in silence, protect it from the cold winds of skepticism and disbelief. Let it grow strong in the fertile soil of your own unwavering faith. As you go forth from this place, carry with you the absolute knowing that the message you await is already yours. It exists now, in this very moment, in the eternal realm of your imagination. Your task is not to make it happen, but to align yourself with the reality of its existence. Live from that place of fulfillment and watch as the world reshapes itself to match your inner vision. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If you find yourself constantly checking your phone, anxiously awaiting a message, know that this state of lack and anxiety is what you are creating. Instead, live as though the message has already been received. Feel the peace, the satisfaction, the completion that comes with it. This is the state from which your desire will manifest. Many of you may be wondering about the actions you should take in the physical world. Should I reach out, you ask? Should I make the first move? But I say to you, the most powerful action you can take is to act from the state of the wish fulfilled. If in your imagination you have already received the message, how would you behave? What would your demeanor be? Live from that state and let your actions flow naturally from it. As you practice living from the end, you may find that your desire begins to take on new dimensions. What started as a simple wish to hear back from someone may blossom into a deeper understanding of your own worth, your own completeness. For in truth, the fulfillment you seek does not come from outside yourself, but from the realization of your own divine nature. Do not be discouraged if at times you falter in your assumption. We are human, and it is natural for doubts to arise. When this happens, do not fight against these thoughts or break yourself for having them. Simply acknowledge them, and then gently return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Each time you do this, you are strengthening your ability to consciously create your reality. Remember, the law of assumption is not a tool for controlling others or bending them to your will. It is a means of aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, of realizing your own divine nature. When you hear back from someone, it will not be because you have manipulated them, but because you have transformed yourself. You have become the person who naturally, effortlessly receives such messages. As you go forth from this place, carry with you the absolute conviction that your imagination is creating reality moment by moment. The message you await is already yours in the realm of imagination. Live from that state of fulfillment, feeling the joy and satisfaction of having received it. Let this feeling permeate your entire being, coloring your thoughts, your words, your actions. For in doing so, you are living from the end, and this is the secret of all successful manifestation. Remember, you are the operant power in your life. The entire universe moves to fulfill your assumptions. Do not put your faith in external forces or chance occurrences. Put your faith in the creative power of your own imagination. For it is not some distant deity or capricious fate that shapes your world, but the God within you expressing itself through your thoughts and feelings. Live from this knowing and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. The message you await is but the first step on a journey of infinite possibility and boundless creation. This will find you when you need it most. Ponder these words, for they contain within them the very essence of your being, the key to unlocking the infinite potential that resides within you. You see, everything in your world, every circumstance, every encounter, every fleeting thought is but a reflection of your own consciousness. And it is this consciousness, this awareness of being, that is the true source of all that you experience. Let us delve deeper into this profound truth. You, my dear listener, are not merely a physical body moving through space and time. You are in essence pure consciousness, the very fabric of reality itself. And it is through this consciousness that you shape and mold your entire world. Every desire, every fear, every belief you hold dear becomes the blueprint for your life's experiences. Now you may ask, but Neville, how can this be? How can my thoughts and feelings create my reality? And to this I say, open your mind to the greatest secret of all, the law of assumption. This law, as immutable as gravity itself, states that whatever state you assume to be true must be made manifest in your world. It is not hope, not mere positive thinking, but a deep, unshakable knowing that brings your desires into being. Consider for a moment the times in your life when you've needed something most. Perhaps it was guidance, perhaps it was comfort, or perhaps it was a sudden flash of inspiration. Did you not find in those moments of greatest need that the very thing you required seemed to appear as if by magic? This, my friends, is no coincidence. It is the law of assumption at work, bringing to you exactly what you need, precisely when you need it most. But let us not mistake this for some external force, some capricious universe doling out favors. No. The power lies entirely within you. You are the operant power, the God of your universe, shaping reality through the power of your imagination. When you fully grasp this truth, when you internalize it to the very core of your being, you will understand that nothing is impossible to you. Imagine, if you will, a world where every desire of your heart is fulfilled, where every dream you've ever dared to dream becomes your living reality. This world, my friends, is not some far-off utopia. It is the very world you inhabit right now, waiting to be molded by the power of your assumption. For when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you live from the end as though your desire were already a fact, you set in motion forces beyond your comprehension, aligning the entire universe to bring about your desired state. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, I've tried positive thinking before. I've visualized, I've affirmed, and still my desires elude me. To this I say, you have not yet fully embraced the law of assumption. For it is not enough to merely think positively or to visualize half-heartedly. You must feel it, live it, breathe it. You must assume the state of your wish fulfilled with such conviction that to experience anything else becomes an impossibility. Let me share with you a technique, a method so simple yet so profound that it has the power to revolutionize your entire existence. It is the technique of living from the end. In the quiet of your mind, in that still space between sleeping and waking, create a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. See it, feel it, taste it, touch it. Make it so real, so vivid that for a moment you phosphorescent your present circumstances entirely, and in that moment of forgetting you plant the seed of your new reality. But remember, my dear friends, this is not a one-time exercise. It is a way of life, a constant state of being. You must persist in your assumption, even when the outside world seems to contradict it. For the outside world is but a shadow, a reflection of past assumptions. Your true power lies in the present moment, in your ability to choose, right now, the state you wish to occupy. Consider the biblical phrase, before they call, I will answer. This is not the proclamation of some external deity, but a profound statement about the nature of consciousness itself. Your desires, your needs are already fulfilled in the realm of infinite possibility. It is your task, through the power of assumption, to bring them into your three-dimensional reality. Now you may wonder, how long must I persist? When will I see the fruits of my assumption? And to this I say, the time it takes for your assumption to become your physical reality is directly proportional to the naturalness of your assumption. When your desired state feels as natural to you as breathing, when you can no longer conceive of any other reality, then will it manifest with a speed that will astonish you. But do not be discouraged if at first you stumble, if doubt creeps in, if the old man reasserts itself. This is natural, for you are engaging in a radical transformation of consciousness. You are literally rebirthing yourself, shedding old limitations and embracing your divine nature. Persistence is key. Each time you catch yourself stepping into old patterns of thought, gently but firmly redirect your attention to the state of your wish fulfilled. Remember, my friends, that your imagination is not bound by the so-called facts of your current reality. Your imagination transcends time and space, operating in a realm where all things are possible. When you imagine lovingly on behalf of another, when you see them as they wish to be seen, you are performing the highest act of creation. For in truth, there is no other. All is you pushed out. All is a reflection of your own magnificent consciousness. Let us now turn our attention to the concept of time, for it plays a crucial role in understanding how this message finds you when you need it most. Time, as you experience it in your day-to-day life, is but an illusion, a construct of the human mind. In the realm of pure consciousness, all moments exist simultaneously. The past, present, and future are one eternal now. This understanding is crucial, for it means that the moment of your greatest need and the moment of its fulfillment are one and the same. When you fully grasp this truth, you will see that there is no waiting, no striving, no desperate seeking. There is only the calm assurance that all is well, all is as it should be, all is unfolding in divine perfection. Consider the times in your life when a book has fallen open to exactly the page you needed to read, or when a chance encounter provided the very guidance you were seeking. These are not random occurrences, but perfect demonstrations of the law of assumption at work. You drew these experiences to you through your state of consciousness, through your awareness of need, and your openness to receive. Now, let us delve deeper into the mechanics of manifestation, for understanding this process will empower you to consciously create the life you desire. Every experience in your life, every person you encounter, every circumstance you find yourself in is a reflection of your dominant state of consciousness. Your world is quite literally molded by your beliefs, expectations, and assumptions. This is why two people can experience the same external event in radically different ways. One sees opportunity where another sees obstacle. One finds joy where another finds despair. The difference lies not in the event itself, but in the consciousness through which it is perceived. Understanding this, you begin to see the immense power you hold. No longer are you a victim of circumstance, buffeted about by forces beyond your control. You are the author of your life story, the director of your grand play. And with this power comes great responsibility, the responsibility to consciously choose the states you occupy, to carefully curate the assumptions you hold. But how, you may ask, does one go about changing deeply ingrained patterns of thought and belief? The answer lies in the art of revision. Each night, before you sleep, review the events of your day. But do not simply replay them as they occurred. Instead, revise them. See them unfolding as you would have wished them to unfold. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the sense of fulfillment that comes with this revised version of events. This practice serves two purposes. First, it trains your mind to focus on the desired state rather than the current reality. Second, And more profoundly, it actually rewrites your past. For remember, time is an illusion. The past exists only in your memory, and your memory can be altered through the power of imagination. As you consistently practice revision, you will find that your entire perception of life begins to shift. You will naturally gravitate towards more positive states of being, attracting experiences that align with your revised assumptions. This is how you actively participate in the creation of your reality, how you ensure that what you need most always finds you at the perfect moment. Now, let us address a question that often arises when discussing these concepts. What about other people? Can I use the law of assumption to change their behavior or circumstances? The answer, my friends, is both yes and no. Yes, in the sense that all is you pushed out. All is a reflection of your consciousness. And no, in the sense that attempting to manipulate others for personal gain is a misuse of this divine law. Instead, I urge you to see others through the eyes of love, to imagine lovingly on their behalf. See them as they wish to be seen, as their highest, most actualized selves. In doing so, you not only elevate them, but you elevate yourself. For remember, there is no other. In blessing others, you bless yourself. In seeing the divine in others, you recognize the divine within you. This brings us to another crucial point, the importance of self-love and self-acceptance. Many of you struggle with feelings of unworthiness, with the belief that you are somehow not deserving of your heart's desires. But I say to you with all the conviction of my being that you are worthy beyond measure. You are a divine being, a perfect expression of the infinite creator, worthy of all the love, abundance, and joy that life has to offer. If you find yourself struggling with self-love, begin by assuming the state of one who is deeply loved and cherished. Feel it, live it, breathe it. As you persist in this assumption, you will find your entire world transforming to reflect this new self-concept. For the outside world can only ever show you what you hold to be true about yourself. Now let us turn our attention to the concept of detachment, for it is crucial in understanding how to navigate the path of manifestation. Many of you, in your eagerness to see your desires fulfilled, cling tightly to the outcome, anxiously awaiting signs of its manifestation. But this very anxiety, this attachment to results, creates resistance that slows the process of manifestation. True mastery lies in detachment, in the ability to plant the seed of your desire and then let it grow naturally, without constantly digging it up to check its progress. This detachment comes from a place of deep trust, trust in the law, trust in the process, and most importantly, trust in yourself as the operant power in your universe. When you truly understand that your desire is already fulfilled in the realm of infinite possibility, that it is making this you through the bridge of incidents, if you can relax into a state of calm expectancy. You need not worry about the how or the when. Your only task is to maintain the assumption of your wish fulfilled, to live each day from the state of the person who already has what they desire. This state of relaxed expectancy, of knowing without anxious striving, is the fertile soil in which your desires take root and flourish. It is in this state that you become most receptive to inspiration, to divine guidance, to those seemingly miraculous coincidences that lead you effortlessly towards the fulfillment of your desires. Remember, my dear friends, that the universe is infinitely abundant. There is no lack, no limitation, except that which you impose upon yourself through your beliefs and assumptions. When you truly internalize this truth, when you live from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, you open yourself to receive blessings beyond your wildest dreams. This abundance mindset extends far beyond material possessions. It encompasses love, joy, peace, creativity, all the qualities that make life rich and fulfilling. As you assume the state of one who is abundantly blessed in all areas of life, You will find that opportunities and resources flow to you effortlessly, often in ways you could never have anticipated. Now let us address a common misconception. The idea that assuming your desire fulfilled means sitting back passively and waiting for it to appear. Nothing could be further from the truth. The law of assumption is not about inaction, but inspired action. When you truly assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you naturally begin to think, feel, and act in alignment with that state. You may find yourself suddenly inspired to take a certain course of action, to reach out to a particular project, to explore a new opportunity. These inspired actions flow naturally from your assumed state, guiding you effortlessly towards the manifestation of your desire. The key is to remain open and receptive, to trust your intuition, and to act on these divine impulses when they arise. Remember, every desire that arises within you carries within it the seed of its own fulfillment. The very fact that you can conceive of a desire means that you have the capacity to bring it into manifestation. Your task is not to make it happen through force of will, but to align your consciousness with the fulfillment of that desire, to become in imagination the person who already has what you seek. As you go about your daily life, practicing the law of assumption, you will begin to notice a profound shift in your perception of reality. The world around you will seem more vibrant, more alive with possibility. Synchronicities will abound, doors will open where before there were only walls. This is the natural result of aligning your consciousness with the infinite creative power of the universe. But remember, my friends, that this journey of conscious creation is not about accumulating possessions or achieving worldly success. While these things may come as a natural byproduct of your expanded consciousness, the true goal is the realization of your divine nature, the full expression of your infinite potential. As you master the art of living from the end, of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you will find that your desires themselves begin to evolve. No longer will you be driven by lack or fear, but by a deep desire to express your unique gifts, to contribute to the world in meaningful ways, to experience the fullness of life in all its magnificent variety. This evolution of desire is a natural part of your spiritual growth. As you align more fully with your true nature, as you embrace your role as a conscious creator, you will find yourself drawn to experiences and pursuits that bring you into greater harmony with the divine flow of life. Now let us address a question that often arises as one begins to consciously apply the law of assumption. What about setbacks and challenges? How do I maintain my assumption in the face of apparent failure or disappointment? This, my friends, is where your faith is truly tested, where the rubber meets the road in your journey of conscious creation. Remember that what appears to be a setback or failure is often a necessary part of the bridge of incidents leading to the fulfillment of your desire. The universe always moves in the most efficient way possible to bring about your assumed state. What may seem like a detour or delay from your limited human perspective may in fact be the perfect unfolding of events to lead you to your desired outcome. In these moments of apparent setback, it is crucial to redouble your efforts in maintaining your assumption. Do not be swayed by appearances, for they are but shadows of past beliefs. Instead, stand firm in your conviction, knowing that your desired state is already a reality in the realm of infinite possibility, making it your three-dimensional experience. Use these moments as opportunities to strengthen your faith, to deepen your understanding of the law. For it is often in our darkest moments that our greatest breakthroughs occur, when we are forced to dig deep and find reserves of faith and resilience we never knew we possessed. Remember, too, that the law of assumption operates with mathematical precision. There is no room for doubt or uncertainty in its operation. When you assume a state, the entire universe conspires to bring it into manifestation. Your only task is to persist in that assumption, to live from that state, with unwavering faith, regardless of external circumstances. As you continue on this journey of conscious creation, you will find that your entire relationship with life begins to shift. No longer will you see yourself as a small, powerless being at the mercy of external forces. Instead, you will recognize yourself as the divine creator of your reality, shaping your world through the power of your consciousness. This shift in perspective brings with it a profound sense of peace and empowerment. For when you truly understand that you are the author of your life story, that you have the power to rewrite any aspect of your experience at any moment, fear and anxiety naturally fall away. In that place arises a deep sense of trust in the perfection of life's unfolding. But with this power comes great responsibility. As you become more adept at consciously creating your reality, you must also become more mindful of the states you occupy, the assumptions you hold. For remember, the law is impartial. It will bring into manifestation whatever state you assume, whether positive or negative. This is why it is crucial to cultivate a practice of self-awareness, to become the vigilant observer of your own thoughts and feelings. Catch yourself when you slip into negative states, when you entertain doubts or fears. Gently but firmly redirect your attention to the state of your wish fulfilled. With practice, this redirection becomes second nature, a natural reflex of your awakened consciousness. As you master this art of conscious living, you will find that your life becomes a joyous adventure, a grand exploration of the infinite possibilities that exist within you. Every day becomes an opportunity to experience new aspects of your divine nature, to express more fully the unique gifts you have to offer the world.